to forget all the noble words you said when you get down to the bottom line. Get down to the bottom line. Get down to the bottom.
Yo, what up, good people? Welcome back to the Planning Podcast. Today, I actually wanted to highlight something that I thought was pretty incredible. I started digging into some of the details of Shedeur Sanders' rookie contract in the NFL with the Browns. So, uniquely enough, he actually has this clause called prime equity. So it gives Shedeur a percentage of the revenue tied directly to his NIL, right? His name, image, and likeness. So that's things like jersey sales, merchandise, and even some of the personal content rights. Now, that's unheard of, right? Especially when you think about rookie contracts. We know that this NIL era has taken everybody by storm over the last 3 to 5 years. But now we're seeing some of this personalization of contract negotiation spill out more into that professional arena. Now, this is why this is important, because too many times, of course, players, athletes, they only focus on the base salary. What am I making? Of course, bonus and things of that nature, but it's just, the money that is going to hit their bank account directly tied to their performance. But your contract is ultimately more than what you are going to get paid for, right? It should be a reflection of some of the value that, not some, all of the value you are bringing on the field, but also some of the value that you're able to bring off the field that's tied to the success of the organization. So Shedeur is ultimately saying, I'm not just an employee, I'm a brand. So if my jersey is selling, let me get some of that. And if people are tuning in to watch me, I need to get a piece of that as well, right? So if there's upside, cut your boy a check. Now, what is the prime equity clause? What does it entail? So there's 3 pieces that I'm going to point out. One, there's this revenue share piece. So just as I mentioned, it's tied to merchandise. So he is going to get a percentage of revenue generated from merchandise, sponsorships, and promotions tied to his NIL, name, image, and likeness. So that includes apparel, jerseys, even slogans that may feature his identity. Then you have the business partnerships. And so this clause ultimately positions Shedeur as a partner with the Browns versus just a player. So it gives him a direct financial stake in really monetizing his personal brand. And then there's this family element that he is able to leverage because there is a unique skill that his brother's been able to provide. And that's been tied to this unique NFL media rights agreement. And so he's been able to essentially establish an agreement that includes his brother, Shedeur Sanders Jr., to produce some of the behind the scenes content. And so that's a third factor that's very unique. Now, there has been historically athletes that have broken the mold when you think about negotiating their deals. Of course, Magic Johnson. So back in the 1980s, he was one of the first to negotiate a 25-year contract with the Lakers. At the time, it was worth $25 million. You'd be like, what? 1980s, we'll just say 3% for inflation. That's close to about 91, close to $100 million a day, right? And so a 25-year deal, thinking longevity, 100 M's, right? So very unique. Then, of course, the one we're all very aware of is that negotiation between Nike and Air Jordan, right? And so that's been very fruitful for him, even though he has not bounced the basketball professionally in a number of years. And then your boy, Patrick Mahomes, he got $500 million. And so that was not just, we'll just say cash or just directly tied to the earned income, but it also included some of the ownership opportunities that the Kansas City sports franchise offered him as well. So not just thinking salary, definitely considering equity. So when you think about just this chapter of NIL and how the mindsets of athletes need to shift, those that follow us, they know that we are very involved in regards of educating, equipping our clients, specifically those that may be athletes, those that need help in regards of education around the NIL opportunities, the financial literacy piece. We have colleges and universities that we've been able to partner with, K through 12. So we are in the space of education around financial know-hows, and also leaning in, of course, as you can see my background, I play football, so I understand that language. And so this, amateur level of compensation is starting to shift. And so it is really giving these young athletes the power to monetize the influence, right, that they were able to have while they're still in school. And Shedeur simply just carried that out, just at the NFL, right? And so he wasn't waiting on endorsements. He wasn't, um, um, you know, waiting for somebody to text him. He really came to the table and say, "I know I'm gonna bring value. I know I'm gonna bring eyes." I think I recently saw something where um, the preseason game was one of the highest watched games in the history of preseason, football. And so the numbers speak for itself. And so he wanted to display that contractually, and it's definitely yielding. So a few things for the athletes that are listening: make sure you got the right team. So it could be your agent, it could be your attorney, it could be your financial advisor, it could be your CPA, could be your real estate professional that you're working with, right? Like, make sure you have the right people around you that can will have your best interests in mind, and also can think a little bit creatively about contracts. Like, they're not just there checking a box, but they see you are the asset and they're protecting you as the asset, but they're also displaying the value that you create as an asset to the team or to your employer. Um, and then understand what's in your contract. I know there's been times where I've got contracts, I didn't went straight to the money. How much money? Okay, we all right. We on the same page, my boy. But don't just skim over the numbers, because every line counts, right? Like, that is going to represent either some risk or even future income. And then know your value, right? Like, know what you're bringing to the table, because you don't want to be doing all this yapping through your contract, and your feet over there dormant, right? Not making any plays. So I am going to broaden this beyond sports, because we do work with CPAs, attorneys, doctors, you name it, business owners. You name the industry, we have someone that we've been able to support. But it's very similar to if you're signing an employment contract, right, or negotiating your salary, or even reviewing your benefits package, right? Like, these same principles hold true. So that signing bonus in the NFL is no different than a hiring bonus as a new employee. Right? You might get at a tech company. They're very a good bit of that happens in that industry. So it's upfront money, to essentially get you in the door. Then this same equity clause that Shedeur has, that for everyday professionals, that looks probably more so like stock options, right? Profit sharing. If the company grows, your paycheck shouldn't be the only thing that benefits, right? You should share in that upside. So if your company does offer that, make sure you have a good understanding on how you can benefit from that and some of the risk as well. And then even employee benefits. So this is going to be tied more to like healthcare, retirement contributions. There's been some companies they even help with tuition reimbursement. But these are ultimately forms of contract clauses that add real long-term value, that if you understand them, then hopefully you know how to use them. So the lesson today isn't about like, yo, you got to negotiate to be greedy. I'm trying to get it. But well, you do want to maximize the resources that's going to hit your pocket. But it's not essentially about being greedy. It's more so about being aligned, like making sure that there is some type of alignment that that ties into the value that I'm bringing and the language in this contract. And that's why financial literacy matters. That's why it's not just about numbers. It's more so about leverage. It gives you protection, and it gives you the confidence to be empowered in moments to be able to speak for yourself if there's any misalignment, right, in regards to the terms of the contract. So when you know your value, either you are a professional or if you're an athlete in any field, you can negotiate from strength, and that can literally change the trajectory of your career and your future. So make sure y'all tap in, make sure you subscribe. We bite, we a bite. And as you know, stay planning.